Okay. Chapter 3, Frankie. The luggage handle nearly slipped from my sweaty grasp as I stepped onto the gangplank and boarded the cruise ship. This ship once bore the name Ice Princess Lenore, as it was commonly used in Alaska cruises. Now, she's been refurbished and renamed to the Bruiser Cruise. My nerves kicked into high gear as I haul a big container, a gun, and handcuffs, among other things, onto a ship full of criminals and killers. No matter what happens, however, my focus must remain on Jim and not getting caught. I glide into the atrium between a row of staff on either side of me. They clap their hands and smile as I make my grand entrance. Something looks a bit off about them, though. The smiles are too fake, and I don't mean the fake sweet shit that normal cruise staff offer. These people look like they're the killers. Is that the game? Are the staff the actual killers, and the unwitty guests are their victims? I keep my eyes wide open as I look around the spacious entry. It was your typical atrium with grandiose settings in every direction. The parquet floors gleam as sunlight pours through a wall of glass. A grand chandelier hangs above everything like some illuminated goddess. Luxury furniture in shades of pale blues and silver do the expensive paisley rugs. An elderly couple stands beside one of the couches. The weary man's gray hair pokes out around his head, and despite being a cruise in Florida, he's wearing a gray suit. The woman, on the other hand, is dressed more casually. Her khaki shorts and loud Hawaiian shirt screams tourist. These people don't look like killers at all.
Hi.
Hmm.
Did you poop before Emerald left?
But then again, they really do. That's how they get away with it. I approached the couple and offered them a smile, choosing to give my attention to the woman. Women find the other women less intimidating when they can stare their glaze upon from the man they possess. It's basic psychology. It's a nice day for a cruise. Where have you two flown in from? I ask. The woman looks up at me and says nothing. I'm there from Ohio, I offer, hoping she'll open up if I do, even though my cover story is a complete lie. I just got out of a bad breakup and figured an adult-only cruise was just a way to break out of my shell again. The woman turns away from me, grabs the male's hand, and looks into his eyes. The man nods and looks at me. We are sorry for your breakup. Please do not speak to us again. With that, the pair turns and meanders towards the other end of the room, where they continue standing around. Serial killers are particularly charismatic, which is how they disarm their victims. I can definitely scratch these two off the list. A man approaches from my left. He's tall, well-muscled, and a pair of black frame pierced on his nose. There's something hauntingly familiar about his face, but I can't put my finger on it. Excuse me, he says in the smoothest British accent I've ever heard. The peers they forget to remind you about your wristband. It's very important that someone wears them while on the trip. All right, I lowered my bag and dug around in a side pocket until I found the purple wristband. As I fastened the silicone strap around my arm, I realized it locks in place and can be removed. Do I have to wear this for the entire cruise? He checks my band, then smiles. Yes, and my name is Ezell Carter, and if you'll just come with me. He turns and begins to walk away. Gripping my bags once more, I follow the strange man farther into the ship. His name doesn't ring any bells, but I can still keep my wits about me as we travel down a brightly lit hallway and end up at an elevator. Hold your band against the sensor. He motions towards the metal plate where the call button usually are. The plate is smooth and devoid of any buttons, depressions, or features at all. I step forward and press my band to the metal, and a bell dings overhead. Seconds later, the elevator door swings open. You're a VIP. To travel to the less accessible areas of the ship, you'll need the band, the man said. Ezell steps inside the elevator, then motions for me to join him. Once I do, he leans forward and taps a button. Where are we headed? I asked. Ezell pushes his hands into his pockets and rocks on his heels, but he says nothing. My stomach lunges as the elevator comes to a stop and splits open in another hallway. The lights here are much dimmer, and the white and silver has been traded for a dark wood and moody metals. A bald man with a massive mustache wanders towards us. When he sees the man beside me, he smiles and raises his hand in a wave. When he sees me, He stops in his tracks and licks his lips. You got dibs on this one, too? The man asks. Ezel shakes his head. No, Ice. Kendra is the only one to lay claim to my heart. But that doesn't mean you can sexually harass every beautiful woman who joins our court. Have you tried masturbation? I'm Frankie. Nice to meet you. I hold my hand towards him and offer a smile, then snatch back my hand when Ezel questions registers. It doesn't matter that I've used my real name. My birth certificate, social security card, and driver's license all say something different. I'm actually less discoverable if I use my biological information. Plus, it's easier to remember. You can't back up the truth, right? As the bald man steps closer and takes my hand, I realize I've already forgotten his name. Oh, Shanty, I'm sure, he says as he kissed my fingers. That accent, you knit, Ezel says. Follow me, Frankie, and I'll show you to your room. The bald man looks so dejected as Ezel plucks my hand from his and leads me down yet another hallway. I'm liable to get lost on this ship, what with all these twists and turns and secret elevators. My heart picks up speed as he stops in front of a cherry-stained door. He directs me to use my wristband on the door panel, so I do, and the door lock clicks open. I step inside and look around. The room is large, far larger than any cruise I've ever been on, and one massive white bed takes up a good chunk of the space. Do I have the presidential suite all to myself? I ask as I turn to Ezel, but he's already gone. I step towards the doorway and look into the hall, but he's no longer anywhere. I hurry to close the door behind before the strange man with the muscles, sneaks inside. Ice. Something. When I place my bag on the bed, I spy an envelope on the pillow. I snatch it up, the rectangular slip of paper, and rip it open. Welcome to the Bruise Cruise. Please dress in the promised attire in your closet and meet in the lounge deck at 6 p.m. sharp. If you do not attend, you will be removed from the ship before we set sail tonight. Accessories and refreshments will be provided. Please, only bring yourselves. I hurry to the closet and rip it open. Inside, 2 black garment bags hang from a rod. The name Maverick has been written across the tag on the first bag. I guess that's my roommate. Though I don't know how I feel about rooming with a strange man who may also be a serial killer. Not to mention sharing a fucking bed with him. The second garment bag belonged to me, so I pulled it from the rack and carried it to the bed. After unzipping the bag, I revealed what I can only describe as a shiny silver hazmat suit, complete with a military-grade gas mask. What in the world? I pulled the silver material from the bag and studied the strange get-up. This clearly wasn't manufactured by any official installation. None of the contractors we use would be caught dead crafting suits made from such a flashy material. And are those fucking rhinestones around the mask blackened eye holes? At least it looks like it'll fit, I say as I hold the suit against my body. Now if I could just figure out why we're forced to dress like this. I check my watch. It's late afternoon, so I have a little time to kill before I need to stuff myself into the Mylar costume. Snooping around the ship will be a mistake, however. I knew too little, and I'm more likely to fuck something up. So, I do the only thing I can. I sit on the bed and wait for my roomie to arrive.